Well, you knew this video was coming. Pretty clear if you've been watching me, I'm pretty opposed to the Texas abortion thing. It's essentially an abortion ban. Because it's kind of weird. It makes it illegal, I think, to perform an abortion if there's a fetal heartbeat. But as I've stated, we are not our hearts. We are our brains. I can dig up a corpse that's been dead for a week and with machines get its heart beating again. So, and I kind of figured that the Officer Tatum would make a video on this, and 99% of the time I agree with him. Unfortunately, this is the 1% of time where I have to disagree with him. And I gotta say, you're wrong. You're going to have disastrous consequences for Texas. Again, we'll have to have a caveat to that. And you've given Democrats now their only ammunition, their only legitimate point for the 2022 midterms. Again, I was foreseeing a red tsunami. Now it might just be a red wave because, yes, this one thing. Again, there's a reason why Trump didn't go after abortion. You guys are kind of fighting a losing battle on this one. And I will explain why. Now, what I'm going to counter most... Now, I haven't watched this video, so what I'm going to counter with most likely is, assuming the women do not have the resources to buy a plane ticket to just go to a state or have a car and just drive to a state where they can get the service performed. Plane tickets are not that much money. I mean, they're really not. They're like, for a short little trip from Texas to, let's say, Nevada, probably about $140 round trip. So, you know, not that great amount of money. Not a great amount of money. So, let's get into this.
Good for Texas. This video is brought to you by beatingblackandblue.com. Beatingblackandblue.com, my brand new book,
And once again, before all his fans come and downvote the damn video, I like the guy. Okay? I watch his videos or listen to him all the time. Okay? 99% of the time I agree with him. There's a few things we disagree on. And there's a few things we're polar opposite on. Like, he's a Christian, I'm an atheist. But 99% of the time, we agree. This is just something where we disagree on. But guess what? That's okay. Because we're not leftists where our political movement is based on purity tests. Again, me and him could check 49 different political boxes all the same, vote the exact same way 49 times. This is the 50th time, the one time we disagree. This is why our movement will win in the end. Because I could sit across the table from him, have a beer, and we could discuss this. And then leave like gentlemen.
Police officer in America under siege.
Discuss it like gentlemen and leave like gentlemen. So I'm going to try to... Let's just say I'm going to be a little different in this video.
I always wanted to write a book about that. When I was a police officer, I felt like I was getting beat for being black, or beat down, or criticized for being black as a police officer, and then being a police officer in general. I was getting beat down, man, and I felt like there was a time and a place where I would write a book to reflect how I became a police officer, the things that go on in the police department, things that police are being criticized about that are illegitimate, you know, what's a justified shooting or not, George Floyd. Like, I got a chance to talk about everything I wanted to talk about, and there's no books out here like that. Available right now for pre-order. November the 30th is the launch date. You can get the signed copy, non-signed copy. Link is in the description section. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas and their abortion ban. Like, here's a couple things I think that's important that you know, is that abortion...
Okay, and before we get it out of the way, I am against leftists on abortions. I don't think we should have abortions 15 minutes before birth. My personal stop is brain development. Once the brain is online, about halfway through the pregnancy, fetus isn't quite ready to be out of the mother's womb, but the brain is active. That's your cutoff. You've had more than enough time. You know you're pregnant. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And I also believe we begin and end with our brains. When our brain dies, we die. The heart argument is absolutely meaningless. Let me move myself over here. There we go. The heart argument is meaningless. We are not our hearts. We are our brains.
It's banning anything after 6 weeks, right? Anything after 6 weeks. At 6 weeks is normally when women have morning sickness and fatigue and all of the different things that go on that probably would be an indication that you're probably pregnant. And also during 6 weeks, the ears, the nose, the arms, legs begin to develop in the...
That's not human. Humans are our brains. Point blank, period.
Fetus. Of course, it's little. I don't think this is an example of it. This is a little further along. Of course, it's little, but unobstructed, it's going to turn into a person like me. So that's why I feel like abortion is...
Yes. And? Okay, you support the death penalty, do you not? That's at least a verifiable human that we're going to kill. Now, granted, they had to commit a heinous crime. What's the difference?
Never the right solution to the problem. And let me make this statement. I want to be very clear for anybody watching this. I am pro-life and pro-choice. Let me explain why I say that. I am pro-life because I believe that life starts at conception, not perception. And once you get doing the nitty gritty and that conception happens, that is a human life. Unobstructed, that is a human life. Now,
there's a million things that can go wrong during the pregnancy to end that. I mean, a lot of pregnancies don't even make it down the fallopian tubes. They just get flushed out during the lovely few days that every single woman has a month.
When I say I'm pro-choice, meaning that you had a choice. Either in the bedroom or on the couch, you had a choice. You in there bumping and grinding, pumping and sweating, and now you got a kid. Your choice was in the bedroom or wherever y'all was at. Your choice ain't at the hospital. Your choice ain't at the clinic. I'm just leaving it out.
Okay, you're taking the approach that people shouldn't have sex then. That choice has been tried to be rammed into people for God knows how many years, and it's failed every single time. People are not going to not have sex. I mean, if the belief of hellfire couldn't stop people, this ain't going to stop them either.
There. And I know there's people going to say, well, Brandon, what about rape and incest and all this other stuff? It's funny that people bring it up because that's less than 1% of all of these cases. I'm talking about the 99.9% of y'all, or whatever that number is. At the bare minimum, it's 99% of y'all. I'm talking about what y'all doing. Completely preventable. 100% preventable. You shouldn't be up there doing what it takes to make a baby if you ain't ready for a baby.
Why? Seriously, why? Now, granted, the workaround is, I believe this doesn't ban birth control nor the day after pill. But why not? I mean, this is the same. If this type of conservatism is coming back, oh, God in heaven help us. Brandon, the conservatives lost this battle. Just give it up. People are going to have sex. TS.
99% of y'all. Now let's talk about the 1%.
And by the way, you know it's possible to have sex with someone you don't like. It's called alcohol.
I still feel like the life starts at conception. And if you want to take a baby's life, that's murder. And if you got raped...
But the state can take a life of a murderer? And keep in mind, screw it. Keep in mind, Sodom, Gomorrah, Noah's flood. God don't seem to have a problem with it.
Raped, it's very unfortunate. It is unfortunate. My grandmother was raped at the age of 12 and had my mama. Thank God she did, or I wouldn't be here. So it's not the baby's fault that happened to you. And in many cases, it's not your fault. You had nothing to do with that. That person should go to hell and burn. But at the end of the day.
But a lot of women would be unwilling to properly raise a rape baby, which will lead into the consequences, which I'm going to spell out. I'm just going to let you make your point.
Hey, it's not the baby's fault, and you can give that baby up for adoption. You can.
That does not work. That is a myth. The adoption option is a total myth. We have an overflowing amount of kids that need adoption right now. Now you're going to exacerbate that problem.
You can use other choices. If it's incest or whatever the case may be, you can use other choices. There's other ways to handle these situations than just taking the life.
By the way, I would like to be completely clear. I try to be as consistent as I can. I am for abortion. I am for the death penalty. I'm for euthanasia. I'm for assisted suicide. I'm for the right to die. I'm in favor of do not resuscitate orders. I'm in favor of once brain death has been established or permanent catastrophic brain injury has been confirmed, pulling the damn plug. Basically, if he's pro-life, I'm pro-death.
But let me reiterate, 99% of what's going on here are people who are making decisions to be involved with one another. Like I say on my live streams, they want to play video games, and then when the rubber hits the road, they want to say, oh, no, my career is more important. Well, you shouldn't have been laying up.
That's a silly... I'm sorry to keep repeating myself. That's a silly argument. That is a silly, silly argument. People are going to have sex. And yes, I think it's much better if they get the abortion rather than forcing two people who are completely not ready to have a kid being forced to be parents. Or there's the third option, which will happen. I will explain later.
I'm not gonna say.
Or depends on how long this goes. It's already 12 minutes long, and I'm only 4 minutes into the video.
See, if you followed the Bible, we wouldn't have a problem with this. You shouldn't fornicate.
I really don't want to get into a theological discussion, but the Bible is not a great book to follow. The Bible is actually pro-incest. Read the story of Lot.
Very simple. You shouldn't fornicate. You shouldn't fornicate, which means you shouldn't be having relations outside of marriage. And if you did, if you waited and you were equally yoked with somebody that you got married to, the likelihood of you even going down this path is almost slim to none.
That's... Married people have unexpected children all the time. Married people get abortions because they can't afford another child. Again, people are not going to stop having sex. That's a silly juvenile argument.
Anyway, I'm not gonna get on. Let's continue to talk about Texas. Well, Texas made this particular ban. People are going out of their mind. Women's rights. It's a woman's body. It's a woman's right to choose. It's a woman's right to choose. No. Time out. It's a woman's right to choose until it start affecting other people. Because
I don't believe the fetus is a person. Life doesn't begin at conception. Life does not begin with a heartbeat. Life begins when our brain goes online. And it dies, and when the brain dies, we die. End of story.
If a woman is ready, but the man ain't ready, she can just do this, and he's obligated for the 18 years.
And I support financial abortion for men. Seriously, I support financial abortion for men. If they didn't want to have a kid with the woman, I think they should have the right to buy. Caveat to that, though, if they choose it, they can A, never undo it, And B, any other man that this woman meets immediately is granted the father status. Not stepdaddy, no, daddy status.
If she not ready and he is, he just lost his child's life. The child can be...
But it's the woman's body that has to carry it for 9 months. It's the woman's body that has to go through all the fundamental changes that goes with child care, birth and pregnancy and all that. It's her body that gets destroyed by giving birth. So, unfortunately, no. Men really... We got a bare bones stake in this argument. Now, yes, of course, I know there are women that are opposed to abortion. I get it. I know it. But, yeah, we're not the ones that, I mean, you just had a kid, did you not? You could get stone blind drunk while your wife's pregnant, and it's not going to affect the baby. That's why I hate it when couples say, we're pregnant. No, you two are not pregnant. She's pregnant. You're just holding the bag.
Slain. Because she not ready. How does this make sense to me? For women out here that are saying it's my body, my choice. If it's your body, your choice, you should have chosen the bedroom. When you're making this decision.
And by the way, let's be honest, if men were the ones getting pregnant, yeah, we'd have pretty iron. The abortion thing would be in the fucking Constitution.
To Planned Parenthood, you are affecting other people's lives.
They're not people yet. They are a little parasite. When the brain gets online, about 5.5 months, I think that's reasonable, then they're a person. Furthermore, let me go down the religious road again, because you want to go down this road. When do we get our soul? Are we born with a soul? Do we have to earn a soul? I don't know which you believe, but if we're born with a soul, then presumably that soul is at the moment of conception. So, if you are aborted before that, since you don't even have original sin on you, you will go up to heaven. So you will spend eternity in paradise without having to go through life on earth, which sucks most of the time. Sometimes it's great. Other times it sucks.
It's not just your choice. It's your choice that everybody else is responsible for. Now,
are you prepared for the consequences for the women if you do this? Again, I'm with the caveat of, for some reason, women are not allowed to fly on planes or drive cars.
If women could have children and the father have no responsibility, meaning that the father has no responsibility, and I'm going to tell you why I think that's problematic. If the father has no responsibility, then it's your body, your choice. But that's not the case. You are going to lump him in to get your paycheck every month.
That's why I believe in financial abortion.
You're going to lump him in to make him responsible for y'all's decision, although it was your decision to kill or to keep alive. That's the problem. That's the problem that I have. You want your cake and eat it too. You want to say, oh, I can...
Let me ask you this. Why is it with a human, it's murder, it's evil and wrong, and with a certain fish, it's caviar, and with chickens, it's an omelet?
Doing much sleeping around and building my mileage, getting bodies, but then I don't want the repercussions.
That's a completely silly argument. A woman, a guy and a girl could be high school sweethearts, move in, they're having sex one night, for whatever reason, the birth control fails, this fails, the condom breaks, whatever, or they're drunk and they forget all that shit, and she ends up pregnant, and there's no way they can afford the baby. That's a silly argument to say that any woman that gets an abortion is going out to clubs, sleeping with 7 different guys a day. You know, is that true? Yes, sometimes it is, but the sad fact of the matter is that's... I would say that's probably pretty rare. I'd say most of it is girls that made a mistake. Also, Officer Tatum, I'll save that for my final thoughts. I'm probably going to wrap this up. Sorry, I do apologize. Maybe I'll do a part 2 to the video. This is just getting way too long.
repercussions of the fallout. I want to have the pleasure without the pain. You can't. That ain't how it works, young lady. So if y'all want to learn more about this, you can
okay.
go on the Tatum Report. We wrote an incredible article about this. River wrote this article. She won Writer of the Month last month. So shout out to River for writing this.
I wouldn't mind writing, actually, for the Tatum Report. He wouldn't even have to pay me, because I think it'd be nice to have kind of a different type of I'm not a conservative. I don't know what the hell I am, but typically I lean right on most things.
Article, incredible article. You can click here, look at the law.
Unfortunately, I don't know if he has an opinion category, and that's all I can be in.
Put this in the description section. I think that this should be mandated across the United States of America.
Well, unfortunately, such a mandate would be unconstitutional due to the 10th Amendment. And, okay, this is a perfect place to stop. Let's say you get your wish. Are you prepared for the consequences of that? Here's the consequences. Number one, you're going to have abortions. They're just, instead of being performed in safe, licensed hospitals, they're going to be performed by back alley witch doctors or disgraced doctors in unsanitary, unsafe conditions, and you're going to have a lot of women end up dead. I believe it is Argentina. Abortion is illegal. Totally illegal. 100,000 women die from it a year getting back alley abortions. And they have 1/10 of our population, I think. I could be wrong about the country. I know it's a South American one. I'm 90% sure it's Argentina. So you're going to have that. You're also going to have women dead with coat hangers stuck up their yoo-hoo because they're going to try to induce a miscarriage. You're going to have a number of women who survive either the witch doctor or the coat hanger, but now are rendered completely sterile for the rest of their lives. Well, I guess then they can actually have sex with 17 guys in a night and not have to worry about it. But what happens with the kids? Okay. Mom doesn't want them, Dad doesn't want them, so they're on the fireman's door. Now, we already have a crippling number of kids in this system already with abortion the way it is. Then, because of that, we're going to have to bring back the state orphanage system. Yeah, being raised as a number, not a person. I'm sure that will end well. A lot of screwed up people have come out of orphanages, if you want to read your history, and especially the history of early 20th century serial killers. So then there's that. And, of course, our taxes are going to go up to pay for all these new mouths that we now have to feed. It's going to be, and you're going to see a spike in child abuse, because, yeah, parents really care about their unwanted children. This idea that you can just tell people not to have sex before marriage is silly, ludicrous, and really needs to be out of the right-wing mentality. Okay, it really does. This needs to die a death. Okay, I have news for you. You and Ben Shapiro are relics. This mentality was touted in the 90s. It didn't work. And because of it... What the... And because of it, you know, Democrats didn't have... Democrats had control for a while. You know, I mean, you just gave them ammo. So, again, are you prepared to pay for the consequences? Not to mention, what about all the teenage girls that are going to get kicked out of their homes because they got pregnant, or have absolutely no way to pay for the baby? So now mom Her mom, who should be grandma, is now essentially the baby's mom. How many babies have found out their mom is actually their grandma? What do you think that does? So, again, I honestly think this is a horrible idea that's going to... Again, I'm assuming... This assumes... Or let's go with Tatum's premise here that it should be nationwide. You are going to... Again, abortion solves more problems than it creates. And no, life does not begin at a heartbeat. It doesn't begin at conception. It begins and ends with our brains. This is us. Nothing more, nothing less. If this gets damaged, I am no longer me. The heart, liver, all that, that's just hardware. This is the software. So I'm fine with up to 5.5 months or whenever the brain is fully active and ready to go. So I think it solves more problems. And again, it seems to me fairly hypocritical for you to support the death penalty and not abortion. Just make up your mind. Either life is sacred or it's not. It's like free speech. It's an absolute. Either we have it or we don't. So that wraps up this one.